All right, I'm gonna start my live stream, and like always, none of this is financial advice. So you have to do what's best for you. Just use this for your education and entertainment purposes only. So I posted a market update earlier tonight, and you should listen to it. I won't rehash the market in too much detail. If we look at the 45-minute chart, it does look like we're in some kind of wave 3 of 3. We are erasing divergence here a little bit. Uh, let's look at the futures to see how that is going. What can we learn from the cycle on the futures? And let's take a look. As you can see here, we're getting some divergence here. It looks like this cycle should be coming to an end. We did break below that peak. So likely this is the third wave here, which means we should bounce but fail again for a bigger relief rally. The other alternative is it pushes up deeper, and then it becomes another 1, 2. So we'll see what happens in the next 24 hours. So let's see. So that's what we're looking at in the market now. Looks like we're already starting to rebound a little bit. And like I said, looking at where the VIX is right now, I wouldn't be surprised to see a relief rally. And it could be a substantial one, but if it is substantial, that really lends itself to a major drawback and crash later. If we could just make it marginal, then that's probably more bullish in the longer term. So we'll just see what happens, but I would not be buying the dip like I still see on the internet from all your day traders you guys follow. Wants you to buy calls and shit like that. I have no idea why they're saying to do that when they should be saying buy puts, but or sell stock. I don't understand it, but you guys got to do what's best for you. All right, guys, I'll go into some questions. Like I said, if we don't have that many people come on, I'll answer them, Don. But I'm only doing 3, and that's it. If you want to give me a super chat, I'll do all your picks. All right, so Don, I'll start with the first 3, and then we're gonna have to skip over anything else you've got, because it's just fair to everyone else on the channel. All right, so MOS, I'll do MSOS. I'll take a look at that for you real quick. Let's see. Let's see here. MSOS, cannabis ETF. Yeah, I don't know why they were running. It's probably just counter trend rally, like most of the market was occurring. Obviously, the trend is lower. So there's your first cycle, right? And then there's your 4 and 5. So looks like your first cycle is right there, is 1, 2, or let's just say A, B, C for right now. So A, and now you're in some kind of B and C. So the RSI reset was significant here. Let's take a look at that closely. Could that be done? Let's take a look at what we have here. So it fell out of the target area. That's dangerous. That's not typically what you would see if it was finishing up. Let's look at some RSI divergences and see. And you see that divergence that should be erased. So this is not a good trade here. This will be a connector wave. So this is some kind of W wave that finished, and it's in X. So it should actually make another push higher. I think just because of, how long this has gone down, and then that should fail again. So I would be looking for another wave higher to finish this X wave here. And it looks like to me it still needs more downside, and then then it could rally here at 671. Back to new highs, and then that probably will be it for this stock. And so you could see it come back up to 1177 here. 1297 after it pulls back and then finishes X. So that's what I'm looking at. That's how I'd look at this right now. Something like that. Let's see. A lot of divergence. In fact, this could be a flat too. That would change the target just a little bit. But looking at it here, it looks like it's a 1, 2, and 3, 4, 5. Yeah, so somewhere in this area, and then it seems like it should make another run higher. And then I would expect it to fail. But you got to do what's best for you. It may even come back. Ideally, you'd like to see it exceed 1497. So it may even come back more than that even. So when the market does have a relief rally, like a more substantial one, this could have a nice gain come in, and then we'll see. But I don't think this is gonna be a major bottom. I just don't see it. All right, let's see. Let's go to GTBIF. Let's see what that is. Green Thumb Industries. Let's see here. Looks like to me, it almost looks like the bond market chart. And again, you see the divergence and then a massive RSI reset. So this is some connector. This is an impulse down of some kind that's finished. It's already finished. It should come back up to like $16.44, $20. It doesn't look like it's it's too big for expanded flat. So this is some kind of you see the RSI peak is here. Yeah, so I don't like trading this part of the chart because I mean, if I look at it, it looks like a 1, 2, 3 wave move, and then it's correcting. So this almost looks corrective in some ways, and I don't like that. It almost like the trend is lower. So I would be looking to short it, or if we get the 3 wave move, but it looks like it should still go higher when this pullback ends. So it looks like it should have another wave higher, and again, this looks like some kind of flat correction. It should come back to 942 ideally. There is a good RSI reset on the 4-hour. The daily hasn't. I want to see that daily break. So you're probably going to get a bounce and a failure here of some kind. You're going to get a bounce and a failure. So it's tough to say how it will play out, but maybe something like this, and then it should make another run higher, like that. That's how I would look at it, but do what's best for you. But it does look like, to me, I think, it just looks something like this. If it does pull back deeper, then perhaps it's already finished. So it's just tough to say, but the RSI looks like it wants to bounce on the 4-hour, but that bounce looks like it will fail, and then the daily cycle will finish out, and then you'll get this wave up later in an ABC corrective wave like that. Okay. So then the next one, CELH. Oh yeah, Celsius. So I showed a possible short area on Celsius a few videos ago, quite a few, when it hit that trend line, and it sure enough got rejected there. See that? I was like, that looks like a great place to be to short this thing if I was going to do it. It had 5 waves up, and this is a long-term trend line, so it's just like set up for failure. Now, where does it go from here? it should come back down to 135. You know, but is it due for a bounce? Yes. I mean, if it's a WXY, it should bounce like right now and fail. If it's a 5 wave move, it will bounce and it will chop around. But this should bounce soon, but it bounce should fail, and we should be coming down to 134 this area, and maybe ideally 116. But this is a bullish chart that I would buy it because it's 5 up, which means when it does finish, we should get 5 more up. So that's where it is. We'll see what happens from here. But now it's should be under pressure. Let's just look at the RSI one more time. The weekly. Let's see. Should reset back down all the way to oversold. The daily is almost there, so so it should bounce and fail. That will reset the weekly cycle, which is what needs to happen. But you're correct in the whole thing from the very beginning, right here. So that's why it may even need to correct the monthly. So be careful too. It may even do something like this. So you gotta be really careful here or here if we get here, because it may do that. So anyway, that's that. So we'll keep going on. Yeah, hey Ponzi, what's up, man? Wow. Okay, yeah, WBA and PayPal. WBA, that is one we had looked at a long time ago. I think we have that one in here somewhere. Oh, that's WBD. Okay, yeah, we don't have it. Walgreens Boot Alliance. What the hell is that? Is that like Walgreens? Is that Walgreens symbol? Is that what they call themselves? All right, let's see. RSI. It's good you have RSI reset here. So that's always a good sign. One cycle. Yeah, you're still in the one big cycle. This is the connector. So let's take a look. We may be done this cycle. The only thing I don't like is it broke this 168. So that is concerning, but not, not a showstopper. But I would not buy the dip here. I would hold off because it really shouldn't have broke that level. So then that worries me that there's something else going on here, something much more troublesome. Yeah, and perhaps this is the connector. So I think what it tells me is this is really the connector in a WXY pattern that isn't finished yet. And so where can it go? I mean, there's really not a lot of room left on the chart for it. I don't want to say, it's a go to zero, but it's in a lot of trouble. So it's going to probably test the long-term trend line, this trend line, at 1371. But it risks having a catastrophic meltdown. So I don't know. This chart does not look good. I mean, maybe it's a go to zero stock, whatever this is. If this is Walgreens, maybe Walgreens is under a lot of trouble for some reason financially. So do what's best for you. Let's look at the Elliott wave pattern and see if that could give us a clue of where things are. Yeah, I mean, this wave 3 has to play out. So you need this 4, and it needs to fail too. So I don't see that here. I just see a 3 of 3. And it should plummet, right? Here it's already doing that. Yeah, it's tough. I wouldn't recommend buying it. This is just a sidelines trade, and you're watching a company kind of collapse before your eyes, is what's happening here. And guys, if you don't want to wait or get your question asked, if you give me a super chat, I go right to your question. I stay on about an hour, and if not, I'll just do three symbols and then I go on to the next person so everyone gets a chance. All right, PayPal. Last we looked at it, I warned about trying to bottom fish PayPal because I said it was in a wedge, but the wedge had a lot of downside potential still, and that's what it's in. So it's in this wedge, and yes, it's going to come out of the wedge at some point and be a hell of a opportunity, but you just don't know when that moment is going to come, and this could be a 1-2, 1-2, 1-2. And it actually could negate the wedge and just have a catastrophic drop in a 3 of 3. So you can't eliminate that. The other is it's an end in diagonal of some kind, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we should get one more low for 5. Let's take a look. See, the RSI doesn't really support that, so I'd be careful. I would get rid of the wedge idea. I would be looking for more of separation in a drop to this $45 area now. On the this area here, 43. I would be looking at that. Yeah, there's your so it's like a 1-2 1-2. So this is ready for maybe a 3 of 3 drop in 5, and so something like this. So do what's best for you on that. All right, let's take a look. Anonymous, thanks for 5. Mara, I haven't looked at Mara or crypto in a while because it's still grinding lower. But we talked about these miners and where we wanted them to go, right? Remember, I gave this area like what back in July, right? I said when we saw the correction, this is where we want to go. So we're looking for $7. And as you can see, we're slowly getting there. So this is the area. This is the buy area. It's a very small area because if it goes through it, then it can retest the low. So it's just like we need to really see what's going on with the dollar index at this point here and the rest of the market overall. But again, if you're looking at this wave here, it looks like to me. Let's see, make sure I have the structure right. Yeah, 3 waves. So this RSI is going to have to come all the way down and take out this peak. And the daily has got to take out that peak. So there's still capitulation wave that has not happened yet. So this, even though it looks tempting here, there's going to be a capitulation wave coming. I would avoid trading it. I would be looking for downside. And in fact, it's probably about to have a wave 3 down at any moment with this separation. So it may very well break through this little box I have here. So just keep that in mind. What we're looking for is, the RSI reset, and you want to see the count in 3. I'm sorry, yeah, you want to have 3 waves, so something like that. So an A, B, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If it's a WXY pattern, which I think it is. So this is what I'm looking for. So Mara should be, in my opinion, ready for a 3 of 3 wave meltdown to the downside at any moment. At any moment. A meltdown. So that means Bitcoin is about to have a meltdown, which it does. I mean, if you look at the chart, it looks like it's about to, right? It looks like it's ready to give it up, right? It's close, right? In my update, I had shown we're here, and look where it's probably going to go. So Mara is going to, these are all going to collapse when that happens. What I have shown happen is, and I think it will happen. So just keep that in mind. So Mara is on the verge of a wave 3 of 3 meltdown on the downside in the final leg lower. And then if it retests the low, great. If it breaks it, then it's in a lot more trouble, and so is Bitcoin. So it could even come all the way down here. So we just don't know. But somewhere in this general vicinity is kind of where I would be looking at it if this is the right count. And we're going to go up one more time. Do you have a comparison, Solana, Injective, and Quant? How low and high could each go, and which is the stronger pick? Solana has always been the strongest shitcoin out there. I mean, I'll be honest with you. And we've been calling Solana pretty accurately since I've been doing this video for over a year, year now, year and a half now. We made a lot of good calls on Solana, all the way from the short area up at 141, and even these dip areas here and one here. So let's take a look at it. So this was our next buy area, and it's in it right now. Am I going to say go buy, Solana while Bitcoin's supposed to tank? I would never tell you to do that. But if I look at this chart on its own, what I do see here is 3 waves up, but I don't see the 5th wave. And knowing if I think Bitcoin's going to go lower, then what I need to do is kind of change this to a corrective bounce here. And then we're looking for an impulse down. So what we're looking for now is a fresh new low. In the next target area for a bounce would be at $2.29 down to 0, somewhere in there. So I have to go with this count because of where my forecast in Bitcoin at the moment shows. This looks like a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and a 1, 2. And a 1, 2. Yeah, 1, 2. So we could still be in 2, right? But we should get 3, 4, 5. Something like that. I think all these are going to do something like this, like I'm showing you. Which one's better in the long term? The one with the least overhead resistance. So we have to look at these, and you could see you broke that low, which is bad. So if this really happens in Solana, which it looks like it's going to, I would probably stay away from it now. I think because you don't see 5 up. So let's look at the other one, Injective. I don't even know if I have that charted. That I just don't recognize unless this is it. We do have it. So this one's, I think, a different chart, right, than Solana. We came up in 5 here. Let's kind of clean this up. And then we retested the high, but we didn't break it. So let's take a look. Yeah, it's some kind of flat correction. It could be a running flat. So this one's obviously looks much more bullish than the other one. All right, so this one definitely is a winner over Solana, but here's the thing. It's like, again, am I going to predict this? Probably not. So I'm thinking it's still in 2, it's in a flat, and we should come back down somewhere around this area, 430 to $2.50. And then come out. So this one I do like better than Solana at the moment, but you gotta do what's best for you. If this is what's the count, which I think it is. And then the other one is Quant. Let's see here. So we had it in this downtrend, short. Looked like it worked out. We have it in this B. We need a C wave because we made the lower low sequence. So this one I don't like it at all. So I would say ING is your winner for whatever reason. This should break this low at 38 in this leg that it's in right now. And there's no more room. So its best days are probably behind it right now. So just this one looks even worse than Solana. So I'd say Solana is in the middle. This one's the worst one, and the ING is the best one of the ones that you gave me. But good luck. And again, this is ready to open up to the downside. So let's see. So anyway, thanks for the super chat. All right, let's go back. Where were we? Enphase, solar stocks. Okay, so as you know, with the solar, I mentioned that the solar sector ETF TAN, TAN, is showing very dark time is ahead, is coming for solar. And it makes sense. If oil is going to go back to $40 or $50, all the green stocks get thrown away. No one wants them anymore. No one needs that, plug-in electrics. None of that shit gets thrown away by investors, which it does every cycle when oil drops. So if oil is going to drop, this makes sense, this chart, TAN going to 21. So when TAN goes to 21, that means the solar sector is going to get destroyed. It's about to get destroyed, man, because you've got this low broke this low. So you have three-wave, a connector, and now the floodgates are going to open up. So yeah, what's going to happen to all those stocks? Down. And we've already been saying Enphase is going lower, but now we're kind of seeing a clearer picture why. So all this shit's going lower. This could be like a diagonal and then down. So unfortunately, that's where TAN's going. So Enphase should do the same thing, and our target in Enphase is $71. So yeah, I mean that's where it's heading. Here, this is probably another 1-2, and then you get the real drop is about to happen. So something like this. This is probably a 1-2, and then you get the real nasty drop, and you can see this top end structure would break, and in fact, it may go even lower than that. It could even go down to 34. You got to be really careful. It's correcting the grand super cycle. If TAN's going down to 20, this could hit. This could really mess you up here, and that would break the long-term downtrend line. So yeah, real dangerous sector to be long in right now. But that's just my take on it. All right, let's see what else we got going on here. Ponzi BX. What's BX? Let's see. Let's see here. Oh, Blackstone. I'm surprised no one's ever asked for that. And all this time I've been doing these videos. So let's take a look. So like financials should have another leg lower. Let's take a look. Got divergent bottom, which is never a good sign. Let's look at the monthly. Now the monthly doesn't, and it looks like it corrected the whole cycle, as you can see here with divergence. Could it possibly be a low in place? We need 5 off the bottom, and I only see 3 at the moment. We see with no divergence. Let's look at the daily. You have a little bit, but I think that's just the C leg divergence showing out. So I'm not going to give that a lot of weighting. See 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and your A, B, C. So this is a connector of some kind. So it really needs to take this high out as 117 to confirm the low. And if it can't do that, then I see all these overlapping waves, and I don't like that. I just don't like that because even though the monthly shows capitulation, I just don't like it. So this is a tough one to chart because there's mixed signals. The RSI on the monthly shows it could be finished, while the swings don't look right to me. Well, actually, if you look at the daily, you see that see this peak. See if that was here, that would change it for me. And so this to me is this is a mess in some WXY correction here in an ABC. So this tells me right here this is the connector count. So I may not be able to label properly this mess, but this looks like it's done. Where would the target be? Right at 118. We almost got there. So it's right where I would have assumed it got rejected. So it's very dangerous to be trading this. It's something like, whoops, my bad. Let's get back in here. Something like this. And Actually, you probably have to put the 3 there. So you have to do something like to force it, but you see there's your peak. So I don't really care. This is where I don't use Elliott waves as a gospel or scripture or like it's got to be. It's not it for me. To me, I'm thinking lower, but I think 30 is too low. So my target for this would be 61.14 in a capitulation drop to reset the RSI and really get capitulation in some kind of WXY correction like that. That's what I'd be looking for on that. Alrighty, so that is Blackstone. Let's see, Zoom video. And guys, if you want your question answered right away, I'm only staying about an hour. You throw a super chat in, I jump right to it. Zoom video is in my stay-at-home bucket that I still have. So we've been patiently waiting for this 5th wave to play out that I have here, right? Again, had this chart for months and months and months. So we're looking for this target area at 54. So that's where we're going. That's where I think we're heading, just like that. So, bigger picture, it's just a big impulse down that will finish. And I'm looking at this as an ending diagonal. Okay. And here. And then it should come out. It should come back to 132. But since it's 5 down, it's going to fail. It's just a trade, a bull bounce. Unfortunately, dark days are ahead for Zoom later after the bounce. So I'm looking for long term an A, B, maybe up here even, and then C later if the company can make it through whatever happens here. If you're an investor, you want to see this B wave come back up and then the C wave just break the low. You want to see something like that, but this 5 wave nature of the wave means this company is in a lot of trouble, and I don't know why, because everyone uses their product. So fundamentally, I don't know why it's so in such terrible shape, but it is what it is. This is the chart. So this is what I'm looking at for Zoom. Okay, let's keep going. Lulu. Yeah, Lulu's been tricky, and I do think it's going to eventually give it up with the rest of the market to the downside, even though it's been pretty resilient. So Lulu, I have it in this wedge right now that should break out at any moment. I'm looking for it to drop to 169 in this kind of connector wave here, in this A, B, C connector wave. So that's what I'm looking for, and that will finish the top end pattern. Left shoulder, head, right shoulder. So just at any moment, like the rest of the market, we have a capitulation wave coming. So I would be looking for this to break down, and you should get a nasty breakdown, just like we saw here, and you've seen it at other times here. Even here, we should see another one of those, like that, something like that. Okay, so let's take a look at what everyone's got here. Lulu. AAL. All right, so here's the problem with American Airlines, okay, fundamentally. It's not fundamentally, with the Russell. If the Russell is going to where I think it's going, American Airlines is in a lot of trouble. A lot of trouble, okay? So, yes, is it going lower? I believe it is. And then the question is well, how low? So this was a tradable bounce here. Obviously did well. And then now it's like, what's going to happen to it? So I haven't looked at this chart in the long term. So let's take a look at it. Okay, so this stock kind of sucks. I mean, I'll be honest with you, as an investor, it's like doesn't make sense, right? It's a lot of trouble here. Now, it does look like it's some kind of 5-wave up move here off this low at $1. So let's take a look at the monthly time frame. And you can see the peak RSI is on 3. There's your 5. So I like that a lot. So that to me says this is a major low. And this is 5 up. Okay? Of some kind. It actually looks pretty easy to chart. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you can see the 5 here. Did we break the high? We didn't, but it doesn't matter because it's 5 up. All right, so we're trading against the buck, okay? What that means is, yeah, it should eventually one day break this high. It should technically with Elliott wave methodology. So the question is this bottom going to hold at $8? That's going to be tough to say. So here's the thing. The monthly capitulated here, and the question is this a connector or not? It clearly looks like it is. So the problem I have is this looks like 3 waves down with a nice bottom here, capitulation bottom. Let's take a look how we came up. See, we never made that 5th wave here. We peaked on the RSI. So this is a connector wave. This is a connector wave. So it's going to break this low. I think so. It's going to be a weird structure. It's not going to look like a good chart, but it should break this low, but it should respect the $1 low. So I don't know if that makes you feel any better, but a running flat, so something like this. So maybe the target would be 422. So I'll be looking for $4.22, man, and that could be a massive opportunity in this stock for whatever reason. I don't know why, but that's what the chart says. And that could be a 1-2, 1-2, setting you up for a massive 3 of 3. So I guess it's good times here again in America if that happens, with American Airlines. I don't know why, but maybe this is also telling you some spectacular crash in the market is not possible, right? This is telling me maybe the grand super cycle crash in the market is not really in the table. If a stock like this is going to go back up to $70 later, unless we have some kind of hyperinflation of some kind or something. I don't know. But that's what this chart is saying. It looks like a 1-2, 1-2 setup, and it looks like a great investment opportunity right here when it comes. If it breaks a buck, then it's going bankrupt. It's a go to zero. And it's going bankruptcy, man. And it could do that. Like this run, this isn't really an elegant connector. So you got, I have it at 4, but it can easily, break at this $1. I just don't think it will based on the 5 waves up here. But, I could force a label a different way maybe. But this is what I think. So I do think it's got more downside. It makes sense with the Russell going lower. Okay, Donald Gibson, thanks for the 5. Boeing and SPXS. Okay, yeah, Boeing. How is Boeing doing these days? Oh man, it's almost in our buy area. Now, what does that mean? So what does that tell me is the market may be due for a little bit of a bounce. But I think, I look at this and I look at where the market's going to go, and we're correcting the entire move from this bottom. So I bet the bounce will fail. So I think it's going to bounce, man. I think it's got to bounce soon. But I think the bounce is going to fail. I think it will do something like this because of where the overall market is right now. So I would look for that trade. It'd be shocking to see that because then that means the market is going to go to a blow off top. So I think this is like more likely, but it does show you that we need to pay attention to the industrial sector, XLI sector. If this, because this is like a three swing move, and typically the market has a more substantial bounce here. The only other alternative is if we break 180, then that takes us off the table. Then it's something completely different. So I'm looking at it this way. This is the most likely path that I have here. But there are other paths that result in crash, like it could break 180. And then this also plays out the left shoulder, the head, the right shoulder, and the breakdown. Something like that. SPXS, let's see here. SPXS. We were looking at SDOW. So we've had this chart for a while. And did we make a higher high on that today? We did. Okay, guys, so this is like TNA breaking down. This made a higher high. So what this did is just like the SPY, it opened up more upside. So we should see more upside in the SPXS. Let's take a look at everything and just make sure we have it labeled properly. So this RSI will take this peak out soon. The daily as well should come up to overbought, and then it should pull back, and then more than likely we'll make one more swing higher. All right, so yeah, so we're looking for $16 as the first peak. I'll show you the crash target. I've traded this so many years. So if I draw a line on the cycle, just like I do here, I've seen many times back when I traded this in all these other crashes and bear markets and things. It could have a spike and retouch this like that. It's common. It's done it before in a massive VIX spike, and that could get you to 18. But if it tags this line, that's definitely the time to ring the cash register if you made it that far in it. So it could pull back at 16, but if you get a real panic, this will come up into this area, and then typically it gets rejected along that path, and then it resets for a while down. So somewhere in this area, but keep an eye on that trend line. And as time goes on, it goes further up. So I've seen it so many times where this will have that spike and then come out of this area and now this trend line here that got drawn here. Okay. Let's see, I've got about 20 minutes. Again, if you want your question answered, super chat, I'll go right to it. AAL. DXCM. Yep, DXCM is pretty straightforward. Let's take a look at it here. Unfortunately, DXCM broke a pivot at 98, and it's in a three-wave correction, and that's opened up downside targets, as you can see, in a shallow connector all the way down to 66. So that sucks if you're an investor, but just the way the chart reads. So it's going to retest this low at 66 right here. So you got a double bottom play coming out here, and this is really 5 waves up. Okay, so I do think this bottom's going to hold, but if that breaks, then it could open you up to selling that's pretty substantial in this left shoulder, head, right shoulder, neckline. So you really need this low to hold, this pivot to hold right here. So just keep that in mind. That is what the market is going to go test, somewhere in this area, and you want to see a bounce to keep this cycle going to new highs. If you break this, then it opens up downside to these lower areas, and more specifically, let's show the ultimate target. This would be a grand super cycle target of 42.41 here, and that would be the grand super cycle target. And it looks like a gap. It fills a massive gap, right? That really, it's on the daily, right? Wow, that's on the daily. So, I mean, if I was a betting man, I think that's where it's heading. I mean, and that's probably where it's going, given the shallow connector and the gap and everything I'm seeing in the chart. But we'll see what happens. But I think that it's obvious the trend's lower right now because of the break here. All right, that's that stock. Let's take a look at what else we have here. Mong Coin. Mong Coin. We've never charted that one. All right, let's take a look at it. It's just not enough data to really chart it. I just can't chart it unless give me the right exchange, but I can't really chart that, man. It's just not enough data. So let's keep going. Cart. Okay, cart. What is cart? Cart. Oh, Maple Bear. Again, not a lot of chart data. If that was it just IPO'd or something? Oh, Instacart. Is this Instacart? Oh yeah. Screw that. That thing's toast, man. These IPOs, they're just trying to get over. Yeah, I mean, if I really had to chart it on the 15-minute time frame, you have divergence. So this is an impulse that's finishing up. So it could counter trend back to 33, but it's got another leg lower. So I would be looking for a counter trend rally here. It looks like it's already starting it. It looks like its first impulse is done on the downside here in some kind of flat. I mean, maybe you put it there or there. It doesn't, something like that. And then it should go down again. So where could you short it? Possible short opportunity exists right around 32, 33 bucks. If it goes back up that way. Okay, let's see what else is going on here. I gave Mara earlier, Mara, so you can watch a video earlier and you can get that. DM, I'm on Twitter. You can DM me on Twitter. D. YJ Kim, Microsoft bounce finish today. Yeah, what's Microsoft doing? What's Microsoft up to these days? So Microsoft hit the short area, sold off. I do expect this low to break at 311. I would not be buying it here anymore, obviously. What's it doing under shorter time frames? Let's see here. It looks like it's a 1, 2, 3. It looks like it's in wave 5. But no, it has overlapping waves, so it's not. It's in a. See, this is why this market is really going to fool a lot of people because you're like, oh, it's a 5-wave move, but I don't think so. I think it's a 1, 2, 1, 2, and down you go. So it looks to me like you got a lot of downside coming. Because I do expect we break that low pretty soon. So that's the count I have right now. Only because of the overlap in waves right here. There's too much overlap. I won't call it a 3-4. I'll just kind of leave it at that for now. So we'll see what happens. Tesla and Bitcoin. So Tesla, I'll cover Bitcoin real quick. But Tesla, we had this 3-wave. Could this be 3, 4, 5? Let's take a look. It's possible. It's tough. The shorter time frames, there's too many possibilities to get it accurate. So I'll just let you decide. It could be this, like I have here, and then you go back up, and then of course you come all the way down. That's one possibility, right? The other one is like Microsoft, and then you do that, or you come back up into like that, and then you see there's too many possibilities. That's why I never like trading the 15-minute time frames. But overall, if you hang around long enough, it should be lower. We should be lower. Okay, so I'll label it like this for now. But like I said, there's a lot of options here. But the overall trend is lower. So then what was your other point? Oh yeah, Bitcoin. Yeah, Bitcoin should be grinding lower. You know, and I've shown this chart on another video, but if you look here, that's what I'm looking for. 21,000. I'm fascinated. It's just some skill I picked up over the years, watching traders, and I still am learning from new traders I follow, and that's how I pick up my techniques. I learn from different people what works and assemble it into my own style. The weekly RSI, well, I mean, you know, it may not have broke the cycle yet. Not everything has. But the Dow RSI is pretty clear. It broke on the weekly. I mean, at least to me. Let's take a look. So yeah, I mean, if I look at this, I mean, it looks like it's pretty clear, right? So here's your bottom of your price action. There's your that matches it here. You draw a line. It clearly broke. So the weekly cycle has started. So this whole cycle's over. The problem is you've only really gone up in 3 waves. You never got 5 waves out of that cycle. So that's very concerning if you're a bull, because then that sets you up for this area, breaking the October lows. It's a good setup for that. So that's why I would be careful. But the weekly cycle tells me you're building a connector for the entire move from the bottom. So what if by chance it bounces at 420 and it goes to new highs? Well, what does that mean? Well, it just means the B wave extended in a bigger 3-wave connector. That's all it's going to mean. It's going to mean it's going to do this and that, and then it'll crash, right? So that's kind of what I'm thinking here. And you can even come higher. And this is what I'm saying, the blow off top, right? Blow off top. So that's that. The other option to keep an eye on, because this is 3 waves, which is different than what Tech's chart is, I think. You know, you have this 1 2 1 2. It could be another 1 2 1 2. But the problem is this cycle corrected the whole move. So I don't like that labeling either. So for me, if it were to take this high out here, this high, I'd be looking for this B wave in a very dramatic blow off top like pattern by a spectacular crash later. And it could even exceed and break out of the channel, even this channel. So just keep that in mind. But right now, that's not what I prefer. I prefer this, the bounce and fail, and then break the October lows. Yeah, thanks, Wal. I appreciate it. I hope I'm helping people. A lot of bad advice out there. Yeah, check it out. Yeah, and you know, I think the problem I have with the market making new highs is it erased, it created, it started a whole new cycle higher. It's not a 4 and a 5. So you have to respect that. You have to understand that if that were to happen and we make new highs, you know, we break this high, I got to really go back to the chart and really look at what we could see. You know, I'm showing it here as 3 waves, but I got to go back and really look at it because it could really open up some upside potential for the market in the short term. So I'll just leave it at that. So if you're a bear, you got to keep this thing below 459. You have to. I think. That's just my thoughts on the market. And then we can look at how to label it better later. But I'm not worrying about it. I'm just going to label it this way for now, and the downside should be coming until the Russell gets into these. Until Russell and China get to the target areas, I don't really think the market can find the bottom. That's going to hold. All right, let's keep going on C. Okay. Oh, Anonymous, thanks for another 5. I'll jump to yours. Can you compare Bitcoin Cash? Okay, Bitcoin Cash. Uh, I know Bitcoin Cash because I was in that for a while until the structure broke down in Bitcoin. But Bitcoin Cash has got a lot of overhead resistance. This is the only problem. ING doesn't. The ING does not. So that ING has that going for it. The thing with Bitcoin Cash is I had to relabel it because the problem I've got now is with Bitcoin going down. I could see Bitcoin Cash um, breaking this low at 86 in a wave 5. So I don't like to trade it. So I would say ING is my favorite, but I do think it's gonna if it does do what I have here, it could be a massive opportunity potential. But it does have a lot of overhead resistance. So it's tough to say. Could it actually get down to $29? It might do that, but I don't like trading it on the long side anymore because of my forecast on Bitcoin and where this is showing right now in some kind of 1-2 that should resolve itself just like I have there. So I don't like trading it, but it could become, one of those where you buy it and just forget about it for decades and come back and you'll have a lot of money because it's not going to go much lower than this ever and probably in our lifetime. And it won't go to zero, right? Not big. These coins that aren't CEO coins, I call them. They're gonna always they're gonna run out of them, right? They're fixed number. They're gonna be deflationary. They're gonna go. Eventually, the price will recover, but it's tough. I do think it's gonna break that low here too. So yeah, I think this is what I have right now. It's just why I see the market. As long as Bitcoin's trending lower, this is the forecast on Bitcoin Cash at the moment. And it could still be in this 2 here. It could be it could make another move higher even in 2. It's tough to say, but I do think it's got more downside. All right, let's see what other questions do I have here. Uh, so that's the $1 million question. Is there going to be a pop tomorrow or not? Well, Fridays we know are always seems to be bullish because people, for whatever reason, love to buy stock on Friday because 401k money comes into the market. People get paid on Friday. The employer puts it in. They close the deal. The money comes in. So Fridays have all that passive flow. And Fridays have people, they get their paycheck. They pick up their phone on Robinhood and they're euphoric. They're happy. It's the weekend. They buy. And so there's always buying energy on Fridays. It's just this natural tendency for people to buy stocks. And look, we had a massive sell-off. So the dip buyers are going to come in. So I do think it's likely that I think it's more likely that you get this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you get this rip. But then I'm telling you that is setting you up for that. This whenever this ends, it will set you up for this. I'm just so that's how I look at it. That's what I'm thinking we'll get is like a rip, and then man, just like wake up and we're like the futures are down here, and you're like, what the hell just happened? That's how I think it could go down. Uh, I said that's one side. The other is you get gap down and fall through, which usually never happens on a Friday. And the other clue is the VIX, right? Can the VIX extend any higher? Well, you're in a wave 5. It could go to 18, but it could be done. And if this is done, this will pull back for a while because it's 5 up. So this also tells you there could be a VIX crush. Okay, so That's what I'm seeing. So if I had to bet, if I was a day trader and you forced me to make a bet, I would be looking at a long trade but scalping it. And if I don't get that quick rip higher, then I'm out of the trade. But because I want to see a gap up tomorrow like we're starting to see tonight. And then I want to see that follow through and really squeeze all the late shorts and all the people who didn't take profit today. And then I'm out by Friday afternoon. I'm out. I'm not holding over the weekend. Okay, that's how I trade this. That's how I trade this if I was playing around. If I had to play around because that's what I see. Now if we don't get that gap up or anything, then I would totally stay away from it because then it could just do something where it just kind of comes up and then bam, it gets slammed back down again. So you really want to see a big gap up in the morning, and then that should generate the momentum and the energy needed to squeeze the market higher, and then we should close, and then anytime overnight, I think it's just a massive opportunity for that I have here, this drop. So that's just my take, but I don't day trade, man. So and I'm not that good at it, so that I'm better at this technique. So if we did get a spike like that, I mean I'll be in there shorting that. I mean I would add to that, especially if somehow we came all the way back up here. Just I mean what a gift, the market would give you if that happened. Um, anyway, let's see what else we have here. UNH looks strong. Yeah, it's everyone pays their health insurance, I guess, while they have jobs. I was looking at UNH the other day. I think it could take another leg lower to finish its correction, but man, it is strong. Yeah, I give you that. Um, Energy should be pulling back, and we've already seen the weakness in the energy stocks, right? We've already seen that weakness in the energy stocks. We were looking at this pullback here. We're with Chevron. Someone asked me for an update several weeks ago on Chevron. I gave them the short area. It looks like we just missed it by about 50 cents, but close enough. And then we should be coming back all the way down to 119. So energy looks like it should be risk off. Again, deflationary. And that's what I think oil eventually is going to do, right? Oil is going to fool a lot of people. I do think it could make at least one more high. I could have my swing count wrong. It's hard to get it exactly right, but maybe one more high to 96. And then when this X is set, bigger picture, we should get another swing lower down here, down to 54, 50, as low as 45. And this will finish a left shoulder, head, a right shoulder, and break the neckline. And we've seen this pattern before over here, left shoulder, head, right shoulder, break the neckline, and it actually went to zero. And this fractal exists time and time again in oil markets, so this won't be any different, I think. And that's what we're setting up for. So we'll just wait and see when this, area now, there is a chance it could be done here, but it's not likely. We would need to see a cycle break on the RSI on the weekly. And keep an eye on that, but this is kind of what I'm thinking. But you see, the energy stocks are already anticipating this turn, and they're already going lower. They're anticipating this. That's why they diverged, right? They diverged with the commodity. So I'm at an hour. I'm just gonna kind of flip through the questions. Boyle's tough, man. It's so tempting to buy it here and instead of stop loss at that low, the previous low, the last all-time low. But I just worry about this deflation in oil coming, and that should hit nat gas hard. It'd be surprising to see oil drop and nat gas not drop. So I'm not a fan of Boyle, given this setup and forecast that I believe in. But if you think I'm wrong and oil's going to moon, then of course nat gas will moon with it. So that's the thing. Yang should go higher, man. Yeah, Yang should go higher. YANG should go higher as China goes down. GDX should be going lower for sure. GDX is a stock that has been pretty weak. It's been, playing around in it for quite a while. So I was looking for this another short area at 30. We did get a higher high here. Because of that, it could actually make another pop higher. So I still be careful if you're in it. You could still do something like this. I would short it here, but ultimately I'm looking for $25, $23 to start looking to go long it again. Okay, and if we break 21, then it's game over, and we got a much bigger problem on our hands in the market. But we'll see. Like I said, I do think it's got more downside down in this area. This looks like 5 up to me. It's an ugly 5 up, but it does meet the criteria. And if we can come back to 25, that would be a good opportunity to dip by it against 21. So I don't do Discords or alerts yet. Maybe one day I'll do that. But right now it's just I'm on Twitter, and I post things if I got time to post it. Did Zoom already earlier. XLE got it going lower. And I'm just wrapping it up. If I don't have the chart, I'm not going to cover it because I need to wrap up the call. I've been on over an hour. That'd be David Hunter's 60 melt up scenario. Yeah, I mean, you can't rule out anything. That's the one thing I always say is you got to believe in every scenario that can happen. I don't think that's going to happen. I'll be honest. I think we will break the October lows and end the bear market there. And I don't think it's a grand supercycle crash either. But stocks like American Airlines show that that won't happen unless it goes bankrupt, with many other companies following its footsteps. It's just tough to say, but I do think there's always a possibility that, yeah, we bounce at 420 to new highs, and everyone's on the wrong side of the boat on the short side, like always, and bonds start going down because people are buying the dip, and rates start dropping, and everybody gets all excited again, and it's good times. Here we come. So you never know. And believe me, I have that in the back of my mind. I think bonds going up in price, or the TLT rising in price, would be because of deflation, risk off, and panic. But maybe it isn't that, and it's actually supportive for the market. So we got to keep an eye on all possibilities, but we don't have to worry about that right now. I do think the market direction is still lower, and that's all I care about right now, is where are we going now. But where we go in the future, it is interesting to think about the different possibilities, that's for sure. Everything into mid 24 very bearish. That's interesting. Yeah, I mean that could be the grand super cycle option of, if the market is if the market's in a grand super cycle correction, yeah, things are going to go much lower than anyone can ever imagine, and companies are going to go bankrupt that you would never think could go bankrupt. It's going to be a very tragic moment in the economy, for people, for civilization in general, because it'll be another depression, guys. It'll be another Great Depression. But this time, the country's kind of out of money to bail things out and help out. So that's the scary part about it. So I think you really don't want that situation to happen. But the chart does show that it's possible. And there are people on the internet that think there's going to be this super crash, and it could be. It could go all the way down, to back to the 2009 lows. It is possible, in over the next, 3 or 4 years. But if that happens, the society as we know it is probably a lot different than it is right now today, as you look outside your window, in a very tragic way. So let's not hope that that's the case. I do think, though, we are going into a bear market, a capitulation, some kind of financial crisis, because that's what the banks and regional bank charts show. And I do think the October lows will break, and then the market should be supported for whatever reason, right here. That's what I'm looking for. 320, 300, this area, but in a very very capitulatory fashion. And then that should erase the daily divergence, right? And look, we're already starting to head down there too. You see how we diverged these peaks? That's how we know we never got capitulation. So this daily is going to come all the way down and break that low. And when it does that, this price should be broken too, and the bear market is over. And the bull market should continue, and this should be a 1, 2. And yeah, you want to be on the side of 3, 4, 5 on that. That's for sure. That's what I think will happen. That's my number one forecast. If you're in a grand supercycle crash, you're thinking it's going to come down to 193, and then it's going to bounce, and then it's going to fail and go back to the 2009 lows. And it'll be a calamity across society, because there'll be a lot of people without jobs, a lot of companies gone, and a lot of chaos. So we don't want that. So, but the chart does show that's possible. So we just have to wait and see what happens. So anyway, so that's the market, guys. I'm going to wrap it up, and we'll just leave it there. So, so good luck trading, and if you didn't get your question answered, super chat, I always go to it, or I stay on for about an hour. You can also try to send it